Hey everyone, I wanted to make this video and cover a couple things based on my own experience. I want to focus on myself and specifically what helps my ataxia and get into more of a detail here. Have I found anything to help my ataxia? And go from there in more detail. I've discussed in previous videos about ataxia and treatments that can help some side effects of some of the symptoms um, before. So I want to go over that real quick in this video so you have more of an idea as to what I'm referring to. So ataxia means impaired balance or coordination. It could be an inherited genetic disorder. And I'm mostly focused on the hereditary ataxia types because I specifically have experience with this type and mine is hereditary. And from my knowledge and experience, I don't care what kind of ataxia you have. It could be Friedreich's ataxia, which a lot of people seem to make a big deal about, that there's no treatment or cure. And I don't care what type of ataxia you have. There is no treatment or cure for any type of ataxia. And spinocerebellar ataxia, again, there's no effective cure. There's nothing that'll take it away completely. And even episodic ataxia, which you can even Google online, and it sounds like it's like no big deal. There's a medication that patients most likely respond to, and blah 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 blah. You could Google anything online. It'll give you all sorts of information. But they fail to explain different things a lot of the time. That a lot of people with episodic ataxia do not respond to the medication that they are given. And they don't find it effective. So this does happen to, unfortunately, with people with episodic ataxia. And it's like people are like, oh, you're fortunate to have this form of ataxia because yours responds to medication. You have treatments, it just occurs in episodes, and you take the medication, the episodes go away, blah, 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 blah. It's not that simple. It's more complex, and the medication was the first line treatment or medication for episodic ataxia was exozolamide. So a lot of people are put on exozolamide for this ataxia, especially in type 2. Specifically, I have genetically confirmed type 2. Does it help me? I think by things I've been sharing on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, is that you can see it doesn't help me or take it all away. I share these things not only for my doctors, and record videos not only for my doctors, but I share it to help raise awareness and to help you kind of understand the reality of this form of ataxia, because it's more of a complex type of ataxia. It's not like something that can be broken down in simple ways. And, you can just Google things online about it, and to me I do not even relate to a lot of things that different sources of information refer to. But I came across the CACNA1A Foundation and the gene responsible for episodic ataxia type 2 and related disorders, and I relate to, that source of information a whole lot better than just random information you find online from different neurologists, from different doctors, claiming that they know about this ataxia. And other sources of information aren't very specific when it comes to explaining what this gene responsible for this ataxia entails. And it entails a lot. So, I mean, there are different misperceptions about episodic ataxia. For one, people see it as a less serious form of ataxia. Two, it's not a life-threatening or shortening ataxia, like other forms of ataxia. It can very much indeed cause sudden death, for one thing. And if you were to be, let's put an example out there. If you were to be driving and you have a sudden attack or episode, it can lead to life-threatening circumstances. So, even though the ataxia itself doesn't cause complications, there are other very serious effects that can come along with this form of ataxia that a lot of sources of information do not even discuss or talk about. And it's just really frustrating to me because, I know it seems like I'm getting off topic here, but it's just really frustrating to me because I experience all these different sources of things related to my ataxia that people lack understanding about or even know about. Now back to ataxia treatments. While there is nothing to cure or take away or to treat the ataxia itself, there are side effects from the ataxia, let's say dizziness or tremor or these dystonia or these other symptoms that can be somewhat treated with medications. I don't care what ataxia you got. If you have tremor and it's from your ataxia, there are medications specifically for tremor, even though it's not, a medication to, let's say, take away your ataxia. But there are medications to kind of like help treat some of the symptoms or side effects from the condition. There's physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy can also help with ataxia. If you have degenerative ataxia, there's physical therapy. Speech therapy if ataxia has affected your speech. So there's that as well. So there are options that could somewhat kind of like make the symptoms more manageable. Other things can include walker, cane, or wheelchair. These are all specific treatments for ataxia that anyone could with ataxia can, get help for, prescription, whatever. So there are treatments out there, but the sad part is it doesn't take away the ataxia itself. But it's to help you kind of manage your symptoms. Now with me, it's the same thing. I have episodic ataxia type 2. Medication exozolamide is supposed to help with dizziness. There has been other people that do not even have ataxia or episodic ataxia that's been prescribed medication just for the dizziness that they have problems with. So, I mean, it's a medication that can be used for a variety of different issues. For me, it was prescribed because I have episodic ataxia type 2 and I have severe vertigo and dizziness and nausea. So, with that being said, for one, this medication does not take it away completely. Okay? It has made it less severe than it used to be. With that being said, I have minor episodes of imbalance issues more frequently. On rarer occasions, I can have a severe, really severe episode. And be on this medication and have severe vertigo, imbalance, nausea, vomiting, and you name it, while I'm still on this medication, taking it as prescribed. So based on my experience, I do not respond fully to the medication, even though it's made it less severe than it was in the past, where I was having severe attacks every day. So, I mean, for the most part, it has made it more manageable, but I still have attacks. And it doesn't, and for the most part, it helps the dizziness. It doesn't take my balance issues away. So I can still have periodic balance issues, and be on that medication and have it not be effective in regards to that. So, um, so with that being said, I'm living proof of a person that has episodic ataxia type 2, genetically confirmed, does not even respond fully to the medication exozolamide, like the internet suggests. It's very effective for EA2, whatever. But, some other people, depending on the person, can respond greatly to a medication, whereas some other individuals don't. And with my experience, my ataxia isn't very easy to treat. My whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to share with you more examples, more experiences there. I've been tried on different medications. I've been tried on a medication called Vimpat, which is an anti-seizure medication. And it was given to me to kind of like help ease the vertigo, because still being on the exozolamide that was first supposed to help the vertigo, I was still having some episodes and they were being triggered by certain things. So I was prescribed Vimpat. Well, I learned that I can't take anti-seizure medications, and it just makes my condition a whole lot worse, and I end up in the emergency room. So based on my experience, there's so much lack of understanding with the episodic ataxias, or the CAC and A1A disorders, and a lot of people, and a lot of even other healthcare professionals, don't know exactly how to treat it. After the severe incident I had, they just, recommended, and I was seeing a different doctor at the time, not the one I'm currently seeing, but they just recommended, I'll just stay on exozolamide like I've been taking, afraid to try me on anything else because I would have a severe effect from it. And it was the second I have taken an anti-seizure medication prior to Vimpat, the one I was prescribed for my vertigo, that I also had a severe effect with. So I know anti-seizure medications are totally a no-go for me, because it just causes a really severe exacerbation of my ataxia, and I always end up going to the emergency room. So, there are other medications I have had adverse effects with. So, in reality, with me and my body and my makeup, my conditions can't be treated that easily. So, I find, trying different medications very extremely difficult for me, because my body seems to reject it, and I have an adverse effect, whether if it is making my existing condition a whole lot, extreme than it is. So it's kind of like, yeah. As of right now, I'm limited as far as knowing what helps my ataxia, as far as the medications that actually are really good at helping my ataxia. And my experience having this diagnosis of episodic ataxia, and not a lot of people know how to effectively treat the condition. It's more complicated than what it seemed based on my experience. So with me, it's not easily treatable with medication because I've had different experiences trying different medications, and my body just somehow, rejects the medication. I have bad adverse effects, and it makes my condition worse. So, yeah. So that's my experience with ataxia treatment and medication. I do physical therapy like twice a week. So I started up with that and see how that goes. But as of right now, I just take the exozolamide as prescribed, even though it doesn't even help me 90% of the time. I would say about 60, 70%, 80%, something like that. But it's better than having, very bad episodes every single day of my life. So I just have to learn how to, for now, deal with it and live with it, even though I still have symptoms of it. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to make this video about. Just kind of like share with you some information there and my experience. So, yeah. Anyways, I will see you soon and have a wonderful day. Bye now.